Whether it's a lost pet that finally makes its way home or a reunion between pets and their owners who had been apart for a while, animal reunions can get really emotional. Here are the top heartwarming animal reunions with humans after years that will make you smile. Before we dive into this list, make sure to leave a like on this video. Also, if you'd like to join this month's Star 5 giveaway of a brand new iPhone 13, then all you have to do is subscribe to our channel and watch this video until the end to find and comment the hidden message. Good luck! At number 8, Doll and Swing. Doll and Swing are chimpanzees that were rescued from a medical facility where they were objects of research. It took about a decade for them to be freed from the lab while their rescuer, who was a graduate student, was only 23 years old at the time. She relocated the chimpanzees to southern Florida to stay in a sanctuary that is presently the home of approximately 30 chimps. The rescuer, Linda, took care of them for about 4 years in their new home before moving on with her life. 18 years later, Linda was finally able to go visiting, not expecting that the chimps would remember her. But she didn't have to worry about that because it was just like she had never left. It was clear that she had developed a bond of friendship that could never be broken. At number 7, a golden retriever named Buddy. A popular video circulating social media shows the close relationship between the golden retriever Buddy and his treasured companion, Army Private Hannah Foraker, who was 21 years old at the time. Having been around Buddy for the majority of her life, Hannah had to leave her furry friend behind for the 3 months to undergo basic training. After a while, she was able to make her way to her home in Cleveland for a visit. Her dog on her arrival was so thrilled to see her that it made Hannah emotional to see that she was still remembered and loved. What made the reunion more remarkable is that Buddy is a dog with hearing disabilities, and it took a short while for her to confirm who it was. As soon as she realized that it was her favorite person in the world, Buddy ran with excitement to meet her after 3 months of being apart. At number 6, Christian the Cub. 5,000 miles can be a long way to go for a lion that may or may not remember the face of its original owners. But that didn't stop Ace Bork and John Rendell from making that trip in 1972. Just 3 years earlier, the kind gentleman had adopted the cub Christian, who was born in captivity on the west coast of England at Elf Combs. He was then sold to a department store as a pet. At the time, it was absolutely legal to buy a lion, and Christian spent most of his time in the basement of the store that sold furniture. Most times he was fed in a local restaurant until he grew so much in size that it became a problem to keep him. After an ugly encounter with his owners, the lion was finally led back to the wildlife in Kenya in 1971, and 9 months later, Ace and John felt it was time for a visit. They traveled, hoping to catch up where they left, although they weren't too sure if Christian would recognize them at first. They didn't have to worry about that because as soon as the lion realized who they were, it all ended in shouts of excitement as he happily jumped on the pair. At number 5, Derek and the Elephants. This incredible story is that of a man at an animal park in Thailand who was excitedly calling the name Kayla. As soon as everyone around heard the heavy sounds of elephants running from a distance, most were worried that it could get ugly, since that's the noise elephants make when they're either excited or aggressive. From 6 miles away, the distance between the man and the elephants grew smaller until 4 elephants came into the picture. They were 3 adults and 1 baby. Everyone wondered if this man was just brave or didn't care if he lost his life. To everyone's surprise, they slowed down as they approached him and locked him in an embrace. It was clear to everyone that they were familiar with each other, and this was only a heartwarming reunion. The name of this man was Derek, who was an employee at the local park in Thailand. He had a special gift of knowing how to call elephants and calm them down. At number 4, Valentin Greiner and his cub. 2012 was the year of a lion cub who was among one of those animals rescued after being imprisoned by a farmer. The farmer wasn't happy about the animals that kept terrorizing his cattle, so he decided to imprison them instead of shooting them. Luckily, the young cub was saved by a keeper of wildlife named Valentin Greiner. After a while of building an incredible bond with the cub, he named her Surga, and she was trained to interact easily with humans. She was always ready for a warm hug every time Valentin visits her pen. However, now that she is fully grown, the tradition hasn't changed. The pair have become closer than ever, with Serga always showing off her excitement whenever her keeper is in town. At number 3, Maddie goes home after 3 years. Just a few days before the horrible Hurricane Harvey destroyed various areas in Texas in August of 2017, a family was frantically in search of their beloved furry friend Maggie. The family members were in the middle of a move to New Caney in Texas when Maggie left the house and never returned. Her owner Rachel Coster spent months searching for her beloved pet, but even the help of well-wishers wasn't enough to bring Maggie home until 3 years later. She was found on the street by a local rescue organization that posted Maggie's picture all over social media. Finally, they were able to find her owners using their microchip tracing program, and a 16-year-old Maggie was back home in the arms of her loving family within just a few hours. There's no doubt that this elderly fur baby will be showered with love for the rest of her life. At number 2, Kevin and his cubs. Many people dedicate their lives to saving animals in trouble, and Kevin Richardson is one of them. He was lucky enough to be at a lion park in South Africa when a lioness rejected her 2 newborns. They would have been put in cages if he hadn't interfered and placed them in a wildlife park instead. After 7 years, Kevin felt it was time to visit the lions, who were fully grown and named Meg and Amy. Of course, it was understandable that he was a bit worried the lions wouldn't recognize him, since it had been so long since they saw each other. But it went wonderfully well as he called Meg while in the water, and she swam in there to meet him. It was a sea of hugs and kisses, since it was clear that they trusted each other so much. And at number 1, Casey meets Rebecca. Here is one reunion that will absolutely melt your heart. It's not uncommon for owners to have to stay away from their pets for years, especially as they go on to pursue degrees or chance at a better life. This was the exact case with Rebecca, who had to travel to Slovenia for work, leaving her beloved pet Casey the Schnauzer behind for 2 years. Of course, Rebecca knew that leaving home would be tough for both her and her beloved dog, but was left with no choice. So you can only imagine the joy on both their faces when they finally got to meet again when Rebecca made her way home. Casey definitely had a case of happiness overload with how she excitedly wagged her tail and accompanied them with joyful barks. And with that, we will end today's video. What's the most heartwarming reunion between animals and humans that you've ever witnessed? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and give us a like, and don't forget to turn on your post notifications so you never miss another video from Star 5. Thanks for watching.